Welcome back to the Tsongas Center. Stretch run of the regular season, and every team wants as many points as they can get over the final 3 games. Boston will be without Erin Frankel tonight, and that is a huge storyline. She suffered an injury at the World Championship Games, and Gigi, this is a big spot in the season for Boston to lose their star goalie.
It's clutch time, leading into the playoffs, and Erin Frankel is a gamer. She competes so hard. She led the team last year into the incredible playoff run they had, and so this will be a big miss for their team tonight.
Head coach Courtney Kessel is hopeful that Frankel will be back next game, but for now, Boston is going to be relying on Emma Soderberg and Klara Peshlarova. Gigi, the upside for Boston is these are 2 starting goalies for their national teams who both played at World Championships.
Absolutely, and that can't be discredited. That valuable experience. They didn't take a break per se and were just kind of sitting at home. They were competing against the best of the best, and they both bring their unique characteristics to the game. And so it'll be really, it's so valuable that Boston has the ability to rely on either of these 2 to take the net.
As Czechia went all the way to the bronze medal game where they lost to Finland. Puck is down, we're off and running. It's the final 8 days of the PWHL regular season. Toronto wants to get a top 2 seed, if not the #1 overall seed, and Boston wants to make the playoffs. First save from Peshlarova. A shot from the right side came from Comfort. Another try and another stop for Peshlarova. Toronto averages just under 2.6 goals per game. They have the 2nd best scoring offense in the league. Boston's scoring defense has been outstanding. 2nd in the PWHL, surrendering just over 2.4 goals per contest. It's Toronto with the first possession as Keller works through the neutral zone and circles back, where she snaps it over to Greco.
Good early look by Toronto. Smart breakouts. Vanna Harmon hits Blair Turnbull, and a quick 2-on-1 against Peshlarova to get things going.
Toronto got off to a slow start this year, just 16 points across their first 14 games. They almost doubled that in their last 13. All the way up to 2nd in the standings, trailing Montreal by 3 points entering today. Toronto has owned the season series against Boston. They have taken 4 of 5 games. Every single game has been decided in regulation. That goes all the way back to last season as well. These 2 teams have never gone to overtime or a shootout against one another. That's the only matchup in the PWHL where that's the case. Wraparound is off the mark. It was Monroe with the try there. Hustling back to it is Malte. Malte, one of the national team members for Team Canada at World Championships. Canada capturing the silver medal out in Czechia. Boston able to defeat Canada in overtime of the gold medal game. Tessa Janicki, the hero, with the overtime game winner. Nurse tries to get her stick on it. No icing here. Our referees are Tatu Kunto and Sydney Harris. Linespersons are Jessica Chartrand and Patrick DePuzzo. Boston trying to set things up in the offensive end. Babstock gets slammed into the boards. Back to it is Flanagan. In front, Agia scores! The feed from Rattray, and Boston strikes first. Lexi Agia has her 2nd of the year.
Just incredible forechecking by the Boston Fleet. That is their identity, and they came out strong with this first shift by the 4th line. Watch how Rattray's in there, Babstock's in there, and notice behind the net. The puck comes out, Rattray picks her head up, finds Agia cutting to the net, and Toronto defenders just cannot keep track of Agia. This is a great look at it. Back against the grain. Notice even Campbell. Her head is looking to the right, thinking Rattray's going to come around the net, but instead she goes other side, and Agia is able to bury it for the 1-goal lead.
Gigi, so many of the keys that head coach Courtney Kessel talked to us about before the game, they've already proven to be keys 2.5 minutes in. She pointed toward the 4th line, said, I'm really excited to see Rattray at center playing with Babstock and Agia. As Bilka nearly nudges it ahead to herself, you can see the speed for Hannah Bilka in her return. Another point that she brought up was attacking from below the goal line, and that's exactly what Rattray did on that goal.
And below the goal line is crucial in the Saga Center because there's so much more depth behind the net than in a regular, most other rinks that the PWHL plays in. And so if you're able to take advantage of that, it's so challenging to defend against. And that's why we see Lexi Agia wide open in the middle of the net front.
Boston scores the first goal of the game, 2:35 in. Agia assisted by Rattray.
Let's take another look at this beautiful goal by the Fleet as Blair Turnbull pursues against Rattray, thinking she's going to go up on the right side. Instead, notice how Agia comes into the boards, but then immediately, once she sees her teammate get it, immediately retreats.
Here is Kristen Campbell, 27-year-old goalie from Manitoba, who is 4th in the league in goals against average, 5th in save percentage. She's tied for 3rd with 9 wins.
And what's incredible, she hasn't given up more than 2 goals against in 9 of her last 10 games.
Campbell got a little bit of burn at World Championships for Team Canada, played in 3 games. Had a 3-0 record as Peslarova makes a scoop save on the far post. A little more on Peslarova as she is starting with Erin Frankel out due to injury for this game. She's only played once here in the PWHL. Saved all 15 shots that she faced against Minnesota in a comeback win back on February 16th.
And that's impressive because she came into the game in the second period. She didn't even start the game. Her team was down 2-0, and she was able to help rally the Fleet back to a win.
A 1-0 record in 40 minutes of action for Peslarova this season. She gets her first career start in the Professional Women's Hockey League this afternoon. Got to think that her play out in Czechia at World Championships is a huge reason she gets the nod today.
Absolutely. She was a brick wall against the Americans. Played so well. Was it 43 saves?
43 saves.
Outstanding.
She's going to cover up here as she takes some pressure from Daryl Watts.
As a player, when you're practicing, you only have half your lineup there, especially with Toronto. They had so many players on the Canadian team and some other, excuse me, that's a big shot by Megan Carter, but some of their players obviously gone overseas. How do you stay focused and competitive in that time when you can't do full ice practices like you normally would? And he really appreciated their attention to detail and their commitment level in those practices.
He pointed to a few players in particular as leading the team during the international break. Drop back to Maloney, rebounds juicy, but it trickles out to the corner where Maloney quickly picks it back up. She snaps another shot, and it's blocked. Those players that Troy Ryan shouted out were Flanagan, Miller, Woods, and Monroe. Now, Miller was initially named to Team Canada's roster, but then deemed ineligible for the tournament by the IIHF. Still, she was able to reset and then put in a good couple weeks of practice with her PWHL teammates. Boston got on the board first, just 2:35 in on their very first shot. Beautiful pass from Rattray from behind goal. Found Lexi Agia by the near post to beat Campbell. Boston is in 3rd place in the standings right now. They're 5 points behind Toronto and 1 point ahead of 4th place Ottawa. Here's Rattray. She's going to wind up, shoots, and a save made by Campbell. Faked the big slap shot and ripped a wrister that Campbell's able to stop. Turnbull down the other way from the goal line into the corner where Comfer is. Comfer on Team USA at the World Championships. She had an assist in the last meeting between these two teams. Shot is blocked in front. Down low is Comfer, stepping through fast. Nice stick work there from Renata Fast, one of the best D in the league. Woods keeps it in the zone. A nice pass to that far side. Spinning around, Connors takes a big hit. Peslarova's out from goal as Toronto continues to play the puck. Woods misfires. This one is behind the intended target of Shelbin. Great crowd filling in here. One of the last 2 home games of the year for Boston. They'll travel to Montreal early next week for their second to last game of the season. Shopsall snaps a shot that goes high off the end glass. Toronto trying to break it out in transition. Gable's up and keeps it in the zone. Slaps it down where Brandt tries to collect against Shelbin. Brandt loses an edge. Woods lays a big hit in the corner as well. Puck is still loose. It comes away to the Sceptres. Drilled back down deep for Boston. Brandt's in the mix, as well as Gable. Big shot from Morin, redirected wide. Shopsall got in the way, and a whistle from behind the play. We will have a penalty when we return.
Lexi Agia is able to snipe just above the goal line to put her team up 1-0.
So just before we went to the break, Emma Woods got called for a slash at 7:15 of this first period, and Boston will have the first Royale Tiger Towel power play. These are the breakdowns by percentage of Boston's power play and Toronto's penalty kill.
It'll be exciting to see Bilka out there back.
Yep.
5 of her 9 points were on the power play. She's such a dangerous weapon.
2 power play goals, 3 power play assists for the rookie out of Ohio State and Boston College. Here's a chance for Turnbull. Nice poke check by Peslarova. Able to pop it off of Turnbull's stick. Otherwise, would have had a grade A shorthanded opportunity. Toppany has speed down the far side, trying to blast past fast. Say that 10 times fast. Here's Knight. Morin cross ice, left wing circle back to Morin. Morin from the top. Bilka now right side. Bilka so good with her stick. Gets ran into the boards by Malte. Knight able to keep it in. Knight keeps it in by the blue line again. Morin tries to throw it deep, and it's slapped out by Toronto. Boston with 13 power play goals this year. They're 3rd in power play percentage, but they only have 35 seconds left to work with on their first advantage. Keller dances through at the blue line. Left side. Keller going to try to take it all the way around. She stops in the corner, where it's taken by Rattray. Now down deep to Shirley. 10 seconds left on the penalty timer. Playing it along the boards. Rattray can't hold on to it. Flicked down deep by Shopsall. And Toronto able to clear and kill the Woods penalty. They're offsides here. No shots on the Boston power play. Faceoff comes to the left of Peslarova. Here's Babstock. It's that 4th line that's out there right now. The line that scored at 2:35 of this first period. Babstock shoots. Went off the glove of Campbell. And it's backhanded by Comfort below goal. Looking for a Gia. Turnbull is there instead. Speed from Turnbull the other way. Here's a chance for a Gia, hot off of her stick, and slammed deep by Shelbin. It touched a stick, so no icing. Brown able to backhand it over to Morin. So the top D pairing this afternoon for Boston is Emily Brown and Sid Morin. Megan Keller is on the 2nd defensive pairing with Emma Greco. Keller has played alongside DiGirolamo, as well as Sid Bard, in addition to Greco here today. Her coach calls her adaptable, says she'll play with whoever. Knight trying to backhand it net front, but it's gloved down by Megan Carter. Carter played her college hockey in the area, went to Northeastern, where she was a captain last year, scored 25 points in her final college season. Carter missed the start of the season with an injury, but has now played in 17 games, including this afternoon. Her head coach, Troy Ryan, said that D can kind of be hard to come by in this league. She's such a good asset and provides some depth for the Sceptres. Shirley dancing in the corner as the puck goes out the other way. Greco's first to it. Boston trying to settle it down. They go back to Keller. Keller throws it to the open ice in the far side corner where Shea Maloney is. Maloney backhands it over to Bilka. Bilka gets around a referee. Puck blocked in front between the circles. And now Watts snaps it down. Less than 8:30 left in this first period. Bilka comes away with the puck. Beautiful pass. Keller drifts into the corner and keeps possession. Keller turning towards goal, throwing it in front. They score! Hannah Brandt! 5-hole. Boston's up a pair.
The fans are getting a treat seeing the moves of Hannah Bilka that led to this goal and the patience by Megan Keller. Watch how Bilka comes in, watch her open her hips up and put her feet at opposite angles. Doesn't have a lane that Keller has to shoot, so instead she goes up high and then puts it to the net. And watch Hannah. All she does is turn around on her backhand and fire it low. And just a great overall puck decisions from the players on the fleet to be able to have poise, patience, and utilize skill to put the puck in the back of the net.
Hannah Brandt has her second goal of the season, just like Lexia Gia before her, and Boston feels good 12 minutes in. Fast, trying to get the offense set up for Toronto as they chase 2 goals now. Brandt's goal comes at 11:47. Assists from Keller and Bilka. It's got to be huge for Megan Keller. She went the previous 12 games with no points and is now back on the score sheet with a primary assist on that goal.
And Megan Keller is such a dynamic player. She is so offensively gifted, and that hasn't come as much this season, but she's shown her value to this team in many other ways, and that's a great example. Poise, patience with the puck. She doesn't force it, and when she gets to the top, great decision to find her teammate net front.
You use that word patience a couple times talking about Keller. When she got the beautiful feed from Bilka, I think the whole building was thinking shoot, but she's able to backtrack to the corner and then take it all the way to the blue line for the assist.
Just incredible decision making to take what wasn't a scoring opportunity and upgrade it to a grade A chance.
Megan Keller gets her 8th assist of the year as the shot is blocked off of the stick of Turnbull. Back the whole way was Pejshova, who represented Team Czechia at the World Championships. Had an assist in the bronze medal game at Worlds. This shot misses the mark. 6:30 to go in the first. Stepping up now. Shots blocked from Woods. Comes all the way into Peslarova. And now out to the corner. Tapani. Greco now. Greco ahead to Jill Saulnier. Cross ice pass to Knight. Knight surveys, leaves it in front. Oh, off the outside of goal. Great pass from Knight, looking for Tapani. Just off the mark. Boston humming on the offensive end. They're up 6-4 in shots after Toronto had the first 2 shots of the game. Fast takes a big hit from Bilka. Bilka probably 6 inches shorter, but still threw her body weight at Fast. As Watts skates across the logo and gains the zone. Plays it off the boards, looking to pass it to herself. This is Daryl Watts. Watts 4th in the league in shots, 3rd in points, entering the game with 26. Pass up ahead between the legs of Bilka. Bilka chasing now against Shelbin. Watts once again. Watts leads it ahead for Gosling. Gosling pulls drag, shoots, and Peslarova makes the save. Boston adds another thanks to Hannah Brandt.
Good look by Keller down to Hannah Brandt. Throws it on net. 5-hole. 2-0 Fleet. Here
here with Toronto Sceptres head coach Troy Ryan. Coach, what adjustments might you be looking for right now from your team?
I just probably need a bit of a pulse right now, not competing as hard as we got to compete, trying to do everything on entry instead of getting pucks deep. So we got to play the right way if we expect any success.
Thank you so much.
And I totally agree in that sense of just having a little bit more urgency and compete level on the puck, especially. Boston has done a really good job on their forecheck, and so how can Toronto counter? By being a little bit quicker, anticipating and matching the same intensity level that the Fleet has shown up with.
Malte has it. This is Harmon. Harmon's shot. Peslarova somehow makes the save through traffic. Whoa!
To look at Savannah Harmon, such a talented defense for the Toronto Sceptres, and notice the traffic in front of Peslarova, and she's able to see that, and the puck was a little wobbly. It wasn't a straight-on clean shot, and so great work by Peslarova. She's stood tall so far in this game.
In a rhythm with 6 saves to start the afternoon after an awesome tournament out in Czechia. Played in front of her home country as Czechia was the host. Fast, snapped a shot, it's blocked, dribbling in front. And it's scooped up by Peslarova once again. Well, Courtney Kessel's team entered the international tournament break losers of 3 straight. They picked up no points in that stretch, and she said that the team got a couple practices in late last week, and they hope to stamp a ticket into the postseason where they made it all the way to the PWHL finals last year.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the 3-game losing streak, a big reason they weren't able to score goals. And so their coaching staff made it a point over this break, and they've done such an excellent job of being able to figure out how to teach our players and help them be put in a position of success. And so take those practices, offensive chances. Look what they're doing today. 2 goals already in the first period. And so it's great to see that kind of production.
Shopsall to Gable, back to Brandt. Brandt scored the most recent goal at 11:47 of this first period. Lexia Gia had the first at 2:35 of the opening frame. These games between Boston and Toronto have not been close this year. Average margin of victory for the winning team is 2.2. Toronto with 3 2-goal wins and a 3-goal win over Boston. And Boston with a multi-goal win over the Sceptres. We'll step aside. Boston is up a pair, feeling good in the third to last game of the regular season. Whistles early in this Royale Tiger Towel power play. How about this? They have the top 3 players in the PWHL in power play assists. Fast leads the way. 11 power play helpers. That's ridiculous.
It is. It's so fun. And she's such a fun player to watch. The way she walks the line, and what I mean by that is she can open her hips up with such ease and move laterally from right to left and drag the penalty killer with her. And once she drags them, that forces players behind to kind of get out of position, and she can find them back door or shoot through the screens.
Big hit from DiGirolamo at the blue line, laid out Sarah Nurse, and it leads to another Boston clear. 45 seconds gone on the Gable penalty. Watts has space on the left side. Keller's with her the whole way and blocks the shot. In front. Now Toronto really can set up here for the first time on their advantage. Fast creeping down on the right side. She's going to backtrack and swivel it up top. This is Watts now to Fast. Fast on the right wing circle. Going to shuffle back to the top. That's what she does so well on the women advantage, is move. As that shot whistles past and wide. Here's Miller. Miller, what a beautiful find to the other side. Watts shoots in front, and it hits some traffic. A stick goes flying. Creeping up is Miller. Toronto keeping their foot on the gas. Still 30 seconds for them to work with. Watts again shoots, and it's blocked. DiGirolamo in the way that time. Boston trying to get it out, but Fast is there along the boards. Renata Fast dancing down past the end line and behind goal. She'll take it all the way to the left point. Fast works through, passes it off. Shot deflected high into the glass. Just 5 seconds left on the power play. Stepping down here, Flanagan throwing it toward goal. Didn't get all the way in on Peslarova. And Boston gets it out of their D zone where Toronto has to backtrack. One shot for the Sceptres on their power play.
Really good movement, though. That'll set them up for success in the later, if they're able to get another power play later on in the game, because there's so many looks and different options for them to go to.
Too many players on the ice for the Sceptres, and it's our third power play of the first period. Izzy Daniel will be the one to serve it. This is a Royale Tiger Towel power play. And Boston wins the faceoff. Knight is in the corner, less than a minute to go in the first. Goals from Lexi Agia and Hannah Brandt have been the difference in this one. Knight shoots, and a save by Campbell. Maloney had another chance as well on the far post, but it stays out. Less than 30 ticks left in the first. Toppany lofts it deep, where Knight corrals. 20 seconds to go in the period. If Boston doesn't score, this will leak into the second. One-timer from Bilka is wide. 10 seconds left. Hannah Bilka in her first action in more than a couple months. And Toronto's able to clear. That will do it for the first 20 minutes. Boston struck early, and their offense looks good, Gigi.
They did. They came up with such energy, phenomenal on the forecheck, creating turnovers, and most importantly, were able to capitalize and put the puck in the net twice.
That Scamora talked with our sideline reporter Natalie Norrie about was trying to reestablish that physical presence, because right now it's Boston that is dictating the physicality of this game. Whether you're watching us on CBC in Canada or in Nesson in the United States here in the Northeast region, thanks for joining us with Gigi Marvin to my right and Natalie Norrie roaming rinkside. I'm David Korzanowski, so happy to bring you the third to last game for both Boston and Toronto here this afternoon. 57 seconds left on the advantage as Boston tries to gain the zone. Maloney took a big hit. Toppany in at the end boards. We're off and running for this second. Maloney swings it over to her right to Bilka. Hannah Bilka back in the Boston lineup for the first time since the last day of January. Bilka swings it to her right. Morin's shot is blocked. She wags her stick to keep it in the zone and does. Maloney now has it. Trading spots with Knight. Knight to Morin. Morin back to Maloney. Maloney has comfort all over her. And Toronto has 20 seconds left to kill. They're serving a too many players on the ice penalty right now. And again, if you're just joining us and missed the Ottawa-Montreal highlights, Ottawa with a game-winning short-handed goal to get 3 points against the top team in the standings, Montreal, as they boost their playoff resume and put some pressure on Minnesota. They'll play New York tomorrow. Collision. Turnbull rings the outside of the net.
Tough power play for Boston. They just weren't able to get established. They weren't able to connect either on passes. Some simple things like zone entry and stick-to-stick passing really wasn't able to help them out.
Boston drops to 0 for 2 on the afternoon on the power play. They had one shot on that most recent power play. Boston looking for their second win of the year against Toronto. Toronto has beaten Boston 4 times, all of them in regulation. These two teams across the 2 seasons of the PWHL have never played an overtime game. Shopsall does a good job to get it out of the stick of Daryl Watts. Boston again asserting that forecheck in the neutral zone, making it tough on Toronto. To work across the ice, Flanagan flings it along the end boards. Klara Peslarova is the starting goalie for Boston. Aaron Frankel out today due to injury. Head coach Courtney Kessel is optimistic that she could return as soon as next game at Montreal. Boston also without Alina Mueller and Amanda Pelkey, both added to the LTIR. Retroactively going back to that game against Ottawa. Big save by Peslarova. Skamora stood up. Body still inside of goal as Turnbull's just trying to get out right now, and she finally does. That gets the crowd into it. Some physicality early in this second. Toronto with a lot of the puck here in the middle frame. Playing catch, Harmon. This is Daniel. Her shot was deflected toward Peslarova, who reaches out the blocker and steers it to the corner. Toronto outshot Boston 9-7 in the first period. Leading the way for Toronto, Skamora and Comfer both with 2 shots. Boston's Hillary Knight, the only player with 2 or more shots for the Fleet. For the moment, Ottawa is in 3rd in the standings, 2 points ahead of Boston. Boston hopes to retake 3rd place with a regulation win here today. All Toronto needs is 1 point this afternoon to clinch a playoff berth themselves. Babstock takes a hit along the blue line. Puck pinballs around and is pushed ahead by Tapani. Tapani captured a bronze medal at World Championships with Team Finland. Played in all 7 games for the Finns, 2 points. Nice pass in front, dribbling puck, and Campbell covers. Babstock and Amanda Pelkey have kind of been trading that 4th line forward spot in addition to Jillian Dempsey. Babstock was out of the lineup for the team's last game before the international break. She's back in this afternoon playing her 7th game of the season. Toronto trying to get on the board. Another save, Peslarova. That was Nurse on the left side. Loose on the near post now, and Boston tries to clear. Toronto, a lot of ozone time to start this second period. Harmon, her sharp shot, whistles to the corner.
And Toronto's been able to have that success because they, in their D zone, they're breaking out cleanly some of the times because their center has close support and they're able to go the length of the ice.
Comfort all the way down. Gigi, define that for us. Close support.
Usually centers are taught stay underneath the pass and stay in the dot lane. And so if the defender is driving wide along the wall, you can't be in the slot area because that forechecker is going to get in the way. And so if you can be in the dot lane, provide that little 10-foot pass, just like that's a nice 10-foot pass by Carter to Turnbull, you'll have more success.
Toronto trying to take advantage. Boston able to push it out to the neutral zone for the moment. Daniel flips it up. Peslarova flicks the stick out. Now down deep chasing is Laura Klug. Klug, the extra forward for Toronto here this afternoon. She represented Team Germany at the World Championships. This is Peyshova. She takes a big hit from Klug. Backhanded. Wide open shot is blocked. Great recovery by Boston. That was Hadley Hartmans. Down the other way was Connors. Check that, it was Babstock on the block on the previous play for Toronto. Look at those second period shots. 6-1 in favor of the visitors. Toronto's all over it right now, trying to get back in this game. They trail by just 2. Boston has won 7 of their 9 games here at their primary home venue, the Tsongas Center. Last time these two teams played was one of 2 that Boston had at Agganis Arena, home of Boston University. Well, the Sceptres won that one 4-2. Watts, her pass is intercepted. Maggio, right time, right place. Agia carries through, crosses the red line, up ahead to Shopsall. Shopsall, nice pass to Toppany. Toppany, forehand shot is saved. Campbell's all over it, and the score remains the same.
Look at this off defensive block by Babstock, able to keep the puck away from the net. 2-0 Boston. That's awesome stuff, and I love the point you made about being usually she's a third goalie, and so she stays after practice to be able to stay and allow players to shoot on them, get better. Like, that's not an easy thing to do after you spend an hour already taking shots from some of the best players in the world. So that is such a team first mentality, and it's awesome to see her playing so well early in this game.
Well, Boston has an embarrassment of riches. They're the only team in the PWHL for which all 3 goalies not only played at World Championships, they were starters for their national team. Frankel named the best goaltender of the tournament by the IIHF, as here's a shot from Harmon that's blocked. Then you look at Soderberg. She's been the goalie for Team Sweden for quite a while now, and Peslarova, we've covered it at length, was outstanding for Team Czechia. Rebounds are aplenty right now for Toronto as they try to get one past Peslarova, who made 43 saves in the semifinal game against the United States. Czechia just held off of the podium. They were up 3-0 against Finland in the bronze medal game, and the Finns mounted a furious comeback to win 4-3. Yet another year where Team Czechia has been in the bronze medal game at Worlds. Ottawa head coach Carla McLeod has done such a good job as the bench boss of Czechia.
And just thinking of the mentality it takes for the goaltenders to sit behind. I mean, Erin Frankel's absolutely outstanding, but think of a backup goaltender's mentality, not being able to play, but you're the national team member, starting goalie. It's so great to see them stay in the game so intently and progress over the season for moments like this to step in for an injured player.
Nice shot a moment ago. There's a stick that was caught between the boards and was actually sticking out on the ice, not just on the surface, and the referee in the corner now has it in his right hand. Not sure I've ever seen that one before. Drew Samuzanaz from the fans here at Tsongas. Megan Carter's all the way back for Toronto. They have owned this second period, out shooting Boston 5-2, but they got a chance here. Backhand shot from Knight. It draws an arm as Carter slams her into the boards, and it looks like we have a delayed penalty coming on Toronto. We'll see what the call is from the referee. Sydney Harris going to make the call right now. And it's a hook against Izzy Daniel.
Taking a look as Daniel comes in, and great work by Shabsel driving wide. That forces Daniel to stay with her and try to get her stick up so she's not dangerous, but just infraction by Daniel put her in the box.
This is a Royale Tiger Towel power play, and is the third of the afternoon for Boston. Boston on the day is 0 for 2 on the advantage with just one shot across both power plays. Belka trying to spring it out, but fast, quick to erase any chance. Renata Fast plays on both special team units. A lights out penalty killer and the top power play assister in the league. Short-handed chance. Peslarova makes the save on Kupfer. Morin leaves it behind for Toppany. Toppany gains the zone on the left side. Goes toward the boards and throws it deep where Rattray tries to get there. Fast first to it, though, and a quick clear for the Sceptres.
Such a smart play by Fast. She's extremely intelligent. She knows where the pressure's coming from. And normally you'd say, hey, just fire the puck down the ice, but she ditched to a teammate.
Here's Gable. Gable's shot is blocked. Megan Carter stepped in the way of that one. Carter, the 23-year-old rookie, has been really good. 12th overall pick. Here's a chance shorthanded. Nurse shoots, and Peslarova makes the save. That was basically one-on-one. Maloney was back trying to make that shot more difficult, but Nurse, one of the best in the game, got a really good look. Really good job. Make things more difficult for Nurse, but Peslarova has been perfect. 15 saves now in her first PWHL start. Here's Rattray. Rattray tucks it back. Her forehand shot is blocked. Monroe stayed with her the whole way. Allie Monroe just celebrated her birthday last Sunday. No points in her last 5 games. The D from Nova Scotia. This shot just wide as Campbell watched it past into the end boards. Agia tying up Megan Carter now with 7:30 left in the second. Toronto's had a lot more chances in the second period, but nothing to show for it yet. Big hit laid by Sarah Nurse as Boston looks to keep it in the zone. DiGirolamo fresh off the bench. Backhands it to the corner where Babstock runs it down. Babstock takes a big hit from Shelbin. Arms stay down. Babstock gets back to her knees and back onto her skates. Nice job to keep it in. Brown dances to her left. Shelbin able to deflect it over to Julia Gosling. Gosling thought about the home run feed to Watts, but the Fleet step in the way of that one. Hillary Knight, sharp angle and a save by Campbell. Backhanded by Brown. Puck's loose. Toppany tries to get in there, but Nurse able to steer it out of trouble and get it all the way down. This should be icing, and it is. She has that physical frame. She's 6'1", but it's just not necessarily in her personality to use that size. That's one of the parts of her game that he wants to see grow over the course of her career.
Right, and one part of her game that he absolutely loves is her release. It's unbelievable the way she can let that puck fly off her blade. It's so quick. There's almost like no time from the puck touching her stick to being the puck being gone off her stick.
Head coach Troy Ryan said to us about Gosling, quote, "No one can shoot like her." High praise from the Canada national team coach, who she played under at her second World Championships this year. Was named as the addition to the roster after Hannah Miller was deemed ineligible for the 2025 Worlds. So you just get another star forward from Toronto to go and join Team Canada. Turnbull, beautiful feed all the way in front, but past Comfort. And now a battle to the puck behind goal. Greco comes away with it. Another good look and a high danger chance for Toronto as it whistled across the crease. Fast the other way, trying to get it out quickly. She has open ice to do so. Takes it all the way in herself. End to end, Renata Fast shoots. And Peslarova makes the save. These were the numbers of players represented for both Toronto and Boston at the World Championships. 6 total players on Team USA, obviously heavily represented was Team Canada on Toronto. This just shows the depth of talent and also the international talent on both of these teams.
Right, this international talent jumps off the page to me. Look at that plethora of countries and variety, and as you see, quite a few medals being won as well. And so that is just awesome to see the PWHL's footprint internationally.
15 total players between Boston and Toronto captured a medal at Worlds. 8 silvers for Canada, 6 golds for the U.S., and the lone bronze medal winner in this game, at least, Susanna Toppany. This one's deflected high into the glass. Across the entire league, 42 players won medals, including 16 PWHL players that were on Team USA winning gold. We'll have a delayed penalty. Peslarova is out of goal as Boston continues to work before Toronto's touched the puck. Arm stays up from the referee behind the play. Morin has it now. Toppany at the blue line. Morin, right point, drifting to her left. Goes to Gable. Boston's going to milk some time here. Gable Tried to snap a shot. They say the Turnbull did not touch it. No whistle. And Gable skips it across the other way to Toppany. Boston has to regain the zone now. Less than 2 minutes left in this second period. Both of the goals came in the first frame. Lexi Agia first, Hannah Brandt after her. Harmon touches it up, and now the penalty will go into effect. It's Renata Fast, the guilty party, and that's also a huge loss on the penalty kill for Toronto. She's one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah, she's all over the ice all game long. She just plays heavy, big minutes, and there's a look at her taking down Jill Saulnier.
Boston just one shot across their first 3 power plays. This power play is a Royale Tiger Towel power play. Boston wants to expand the lead. Toronto's able to clear quickly. They have other ideas. Malte drops it down low. Malte runs it down at the blue line as Nurse hustles back on the PK. Fast sitting 2 minutes for an illegal body check. Once again, if Boston's not able to score, they'll have time left on the power play when we start the third period, just like when we started the second. Allie Monroe down there. Hillary Knight swoops it back. This is Maloney. Maloney from behind goal. Toppany. Toppany on the near side boards. Has Flanagan in front of her. Goes behind goal, back to the top, where Morin is on the right point. Bilka, always on that first line of the power play. Missed a lot of time, missed all of February, all of March. And the first game of April. She returns to the lineup this afternoon. It's her 14th game of the year. Puck stood up in the final 40 seconds, and it's hammered toward the Boston bench. Off of the stick of Jesse Comfort. Now she finally seats, and Miller steps in her place. Miller wins the draw. Carter from her knees trying to clear it. Does. Wow, great play by the rookie. Keller's all the way back down with Miller all over her in the final 20 seconds. Had no scoring here in this second period. Boston has 10 seconds left to work with. Rattray, nice feed to the slot, and they score! Shopsall buries it with 6.5 left in the second.
What a gorgeous tic-tac-toe play. Ability to break out. Megan Keller under pressure, moves it up, and Gable gets the puck. Notice how she moves it to the wide, goes to the net, pushes the defender back for Toronto. That allows all the time and space back door for Shafsel on a gorgeous dish by Jamie Lee Rattray, who has had an outstanding game so far. Here's a great look at that pass to Shafsel driving far pipe.
Shopsall scores her first goal since March 15th at Ottawa. And Jamie Lee Rattray has had a couple dimes in this game. One in each period, and Boston gets a jolt of energy entering the intermission break. Toronto out shooting Boston 19-13. They outshot the Fleet 10-5 in the second period. Boston able to cash in on their most recent power play. Peslarova has pitched a shutout through 2 periods, 19 saves for the national team goalie for Czechia. Puck is dropped in the third period, fresh sheet of ice. We're off and running for the final 20 minutes of regulation. Toronto may have won the season series already, but Boston wants 3 points today. Big shot from Knight to open up this third period, and Campbell makes the save. With the Olympian Gigi Marvin and Natalie Norrie rinkside. Casey Carter producing, Tim DeRoyan directing. I'm David Korzenowski, bringing you to the third to last game of the season for both Toronto and Boston. This is Watts. Watts tries to get to her forehand, and a nice job by Knight to prevent a shot. Hillary Knight, with her record 10th gold medal at World Championships we just talked about, has played so well this season in the PWHL. Entered the day leading the league in scoring with 28 points, tied for second in goals with 15. A lot of energy right now in this league. Earlier this week, Vancouver announced as the first expansion team in the PWHL. They will begin play in 2025-2026. They'll play at Pacific Coliseum and be the primary tenant there. Won't have to share a home rink with the Canucks at Rogers Arena. And the fan base out in Vancouver is so thrilled to have that team joining after a smashing success in Vancouver during the takeover tour. Saved by Peshlarova, and it gets back to the neutral zone. Toronto trying to find some answers as they doubled up Boston in shots in the second period, but weren't able to get any past Peshlarova. Fast is all the way back. So quick on her skates. Nice takeaway by Brandt. Brandt tosses it across to Babstock. Babstock out there with the fourth line. What a block. As hustling up to the blue line to meet her was Comfort. Comfort lost her stick. It's still there in the neutral zone. Here's Rattray. Rattray with 2 dimes on the day. Peshova shoots, and it runs into traffic. Rattray is there to pick it up. Peshova, another shot redirected. Agia got her stick on it and nearly threw Campbell for a loop. Agia falls down to the ice, breaking through. A lot of speed. Izzy Daniel. Daniel drops it back behind. Shot! Save! Connors stood up by Peshlarova. Maybe the best look of the day for the Sceptres.
Just great poise and patience by Daniels, coming down the right side, noticing that she had support with her, but how about Peshlarova?
Peshlarova, in her late 20s, has played more pro hockey than you might think. Won 2 league championships in Czechia. Played last year in the Swedish Professional League, had a .935 save percentage there. Wraparound chance. Peshlarova sealed off the post, and Saulnier's in the corner. Peshlarova just represented Czechia for her 7th World Championship as well. She's won 1 bronze medal with the national team at Worlds. Big hit laid by Knight, and slow to get up is Sarah Nurse, a couple of the best in the world. And I think Courtney Kessel just caught that puck as it lofted into the Boston bench. And Nurse still laboring a little bit.
Taking a look as Hillary Knight's going into the box, but watch this save. Moving across the Connors, down in the high slot, and great look as Peshlarova slides from left to right, staying on top of her crease, not allowing many chances for Connors to be able to shoot or find a puck. And here's a look at Hillary Knight coming in on Sarah Nurse, driving her into the wall for a 2-minute penalty.
Hillary Knight will sit 2 minutes for roughing on that play on Sarah Nurse. Also a quick scoring update on Teresa Shopsal's goal. Assists to Jamie Lee Rattray and Lauren Gable. That was a power play goal for the Fleet on their last advantage. This is the second of the afternoon for Toronto. Toronto just 1 shot on their first power play. This puck is deflected out of play, so no delay of game. If Toronto could string together a couple of power plays, you liked their movement at the end of their first.
Yeah, they do a really good job moving, finding seams and areas, but how can they make 2 passes, 2, 3 maybe, and then attack? And then once they attack, they have to get the puck back if they don't score on that initial one and regroup and attack again.
Nice pass to Nurse. Nurse an extra feed to the right. Miller's down by the end line to fight for it in the corner. Jarred loose, far post. And Watts can't get a shot off. Nurse is there though. Flips it over to Miller. Miller to the top where Fast is. Miller gonna shoot. And a diving block by Saulnier. It hits the netting for a whistle.
Look at Jill Saulnier, such a great forechecker. She competes all over the ice, which is why she's so good on the penalty kill. Watch her stop and start, come out, knows that she's not in the lane, so she drops and completely lays out in order to block the shot. I mean, it's just such a good play that everyone on the bench stands up and is energized by.
A couple great looks on that replay as Saulnier flashed the thumbs up on the way to the bench. Comfort, beautiful feed across, but just went underneath the stick. Comfort thrown into the boards by Keller. 40 seconds left on Toronto's second power play.
Smart play by Rattray. She's facing the wall. She can't see anyone behind her, but here's the communication of her partner, moves the puck, and then the Fleet are able to ice and send it the length of the ice.
Gosling. Peslarov out to play it. Brandt trying to slow down the puck on that far side board. 15 seconds left. DiGirolamo comes away with it, can't get it out though. Harmon puts a stop on it. Flanagan's shot is blocked. That was Saulnier again. And a save by Peslarova. Toronto has the best power play percentage in the league, but they have struggled over their last 5 or so games.
And a huge reason for that power play not finding success is the block shots just by Saulnier alone. She's doing a great job staying in the lanes, taking away options.
We'll step aside. Boston with another kill, and Toronto's 0 for 2 on their advantage. Fleet up by 3. Boston will play Montreal on the road and then Minnesota back here. Gigi, still a lot to sort out in 3 through 6 in the standings right now.
Absolutely, and I mean, you just want to go into playoffs, not only accumulating points, but playing at your best. And so to me, I almost enjoy the fact that they have a hard schedule going into break if I'm a fan, because you want to play against the best. It'll bring out the best in you. You have the top 2 teams playing Toronto tonight, and then they play Montreal next. And then, I mean, playing a team who's currently 5th in the standings, that's only going to increase the pressure of the moment.
Boston with a full 3 points here this afternoon would move back in front of Ottawa by just 1 point. Ottawa had an unbelievable win. Gigi, you and I found out that final score during the first intermission. I think we're still picking our jaws up off the floor. A short-handed goal with 13 seconds left to give Ottawa a full 3 points.
It's just so exciting. You know what Ottawa went through last year as being left out of the playoffs. So for them to capitalize early instead of waiting till maybe last moment and putting their playoff lives in someone else's hands. I mean, the joy and excitement in that building and in that dressing room has got to be off the charts.
I just wish I was able to hear Carla McLeod's post-game speech after that one. I have no idea what she said, but I'm sure the team loved it. She's really galvanized that charged group, and they entered the break on a hot streak. And these are the updated standings accounting for that Ottawa full 3 points today. And all of a sudden, that Montreal lead at first place in the standings doesn't look so big now. The Pack able to close in on the top-seeded Victoire. Toronto has their eyes on a top 2 seed and home ice in the PWHL playoff semifinals. Had an outside shot at locking up the #1 overall seed. But obviously a loss here today would make that more difficult. Toppany pushed off the puck as she threw it in deep. Got about 10 minutes left in regulation. Boston scored 2 in the first period and 1 in the final 10 seconds of the second. Goal scorers for the Fleet today: Alexia Gia, Hannah Brandt, and Teresa Shopsaw. All of them on lines 2 through 4.
That's why you love this league. It's so fun. Just being able to be a fan and cheering on the different players and the storylines. It's so fun, and it'll be awesome last couple games here down the stretch.
Gigi, it's so funny. We talk about standings the entire season, right? We always look at the table 1 through 6. How could the playoffs shake out? This is really when it's all sorted out, because the league is so tight, right? It's always seemingly going to come down to the last few games, especially when you only got 6 teams in the league. Now that'll change next year with the addition of Vancouver. But also you look at the playoff seedings from last year. Seeds 3 and 4 upset the top 2 seeds in the first round.
Right, it's so fun. You don't see that often in many leagues.
In front, shot goes wide from Spooner. This is Agia. Agia trying to work past. And she's pushed off it by Hannah Miller. We drop under 9 minutes to go. We have a delayed penalty from behind the play. We'll step aside and sort it out when we return. 8:53 left. Boston wants 3 points. Welcome back to the Tsongas Center. Boston 9 minutes away from 3 more points, as Hannah Miller sits for 2 minutes for interference. It's Toronto's 5th penalty of the afternoon. Boston is 1 for their first 4 on the power play, with a total of 2 shots. This is a Royale Tiger Towel power play. Rattray with a beautiful assist on Shopsaw's power play goal with just 6.5 seconds left in period number 2. No team has scored here in the third. Does Boston have the recipe on the advantage once again? Or can Toronto keep this a 3-goal deficit and try to claw back? All the way down to Peslarova, who plays it. And Toppany is back to circle behind goal. Since the first period, shots are 15-7 in favor of Toronto. They can score in bunches. Here's Knight. Knight looking for a feed, back door, and just off the mark, Shirley. Bounced beneath her stick, as Knight nearly had another assist. .35 seconds left on the power play. Shirley still out there. This is Izzy Daniel. Patty Kazmaier Award winner last season in her final college year at Cornell. Was the Ivy League Player of the Year. Also represented Team Canada at World Championships earlier this month. Final 5 seconds for Boston on the power play. Rattray is in the zone, and the final seconds will tick off. Miller's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5.
Not many good quality chances on Campbell. I mean, Toronto did a solid job keeping the puck to the outside, mostly perimeter work, and then really didn't allow much in the zone. Except for one chance, which is right here. Nice pass by Hillary Knight as she attacks. Sophie Shirley just got on the ice, and look at her speed. I love how she opens up to her forehand, but the puck just doesn't quite get to her. Thanks to a nice diving block, as you see on this one. Megan Carter gets her stick, and it deflects up, and it gets out of the hands of Sophie Shirley.
Off of the face-off win, Campbell tested again. She really hasn't faced a high volume of shots, Gigi. Just 14 for Boston. And she's made 11 saves. She's now 14 saves away from joining the 1,000 club with 1,000 career saves in the PWHL. but looking less and less likely that she'll cross that milestone this afternoon. Erin Frankel, of course, was the first goalie to cross that landmark, as Babstock is tied up with some Sceptres after laying a hit on Malte. And it'll be Lexi Agia to serve the penalty. Didn't get a good look at it. It was on the near side boards, sort of cut off from our view by the Toronto heads along their bench. Let's take a look here.
See a lot of play on the near wall, as you mentioned, and yeah, Malte turns as Agia comes in strong from behind. That'll be the reason why she's sitting in the box right now.
It's another roughing call. Hillary Knight got one earlier in this third period. It's the third penalty of the day for the Fleet, and another Royal Tiger Towel power play. Can Toronto get on the board? Sparked by this awesome power play that converted at 28.6% entering the afternoon. They're 0 for 2 today. Boston's top penalty killing unit in the league has done their job. Boston has now killed 73.
But we did talk to Megan this past week about how they're approaching these final 3 games of the season and coming back from Worlds, and she said, yeah, it's a nice little reset to be there, but coming back, we missed each other so much that we're all excited to get going again. But the main thing they're telling themselves right now is in these 3 games, we control our destiny. So they knew they had to get the legs going. They knew that they had to produce, and I certainly feel like this team is energized just being here next to their bench.
And the ability to control your own destiny, I mean, it's so different from last season coming in, because it was like, how do we get in? Well, these teams have to lose, and then this team has to lose, and you have to win in regulation, and all these scenarios at play, whereas right now they're able to control it and therefore compete with a little bit. It doesn't mean they're going to take their foot off the gas. It just means there's more poise, which is actually, it's interesting. That's what we saw in Keller's assist earlier. I mean, just poise with the puck, better decision making, and you don't feel the pressure as much glaring down your back.
Well, Boston would move back into third place and leapfrog Ottawa, who temporarily jumped the Fleet with their regulation win earlier this afternoon. This puck is thrown in, deflected, and then comes out to the half wall. Comfer spins around, looks for space, goes back to Flanagan. Flanagan zips it across to Gosling. At the top, Harmon. And the shot's blocked on the right side. Keller stepped in the way. Well, every team's goal coming back from World Championship was a full 9 points. Boston and Ottawa can still do that. Toronto running out of time here today, and they will have to wait until their next game at home against New York to try to clinch that playoff spot. Flanagan shoots, and Peslarova makes the save. As time expires on the penalty, we're back to 5-on-5. Boston, who entered the World Championship pause, losers of 3 straight, look to rectify that here today and are closing in on regulation win number 9 here in 2024-2025. Toronto with 12 regulation wins. Face a 3-goal deficit with 3:30 to play. Their awesome power play dropped to 0 for 3 as Boston just killed off the Agia minor. Nurse, backhanded shot, saved by Peslarova on fast. Peslarova, closing in on 100 career minutes in the PWHL, has yet to allow a goal against her. 15 saves in 40 minutes against Minnesota. 26 saves and counting against Toronto. Trying to beat out the icing is Maloney. And the whistle blew. Maloney peeks back her head, thought she might have beat it out. But Peslarova is proving Courtney Kessel's point that she believes she has Three of the best goalies in the world on this Boston Fleet roster.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And again, like kind of Natalie mentioned earlier, like if you're a third string or a second string, you don't have as many. You mentioned the ice time, 100 minutes so far in the PWHL at the end of the season. How do you stay sharp? How do you stay engaged? And she's just such a team player, allows her teammates to stay on after practice and just fire pucks, get better, put themselves in situations for success, and also herself for success.
Thrown in from deep in the corner. Comfort has it bounce off of Peslerova's pads. One other key to success for Klara Peslerova, her oranges. We had a great moment earlier in the year where Natalie was interviewing Peslerova after her first career win. And Natalie asked her, so what was that moment like when your coach told you were going to go in the game? Sort of an innocent look on her face. She said, well, I was just sitting there eating my orange. Fans have then taken that and made signs. I'm excited for what might be a post-game interview number 2 here this afternoon. Natalie, if you're listening, I'd love a follow-up question about her orange consumption. Less than 2 minutes to go. Boston got to feel real good with the way they've played here today. 2 goals in the first period, 1 at the close of the second, and they have held Toronto off the board this entire way. Toronto will have yet another chance to clinch when they take on New York early next week. They'll close off the season against Ottawa. Peslerova glove save on Harmon, and the fans love it.
So look at Aaron Frankel with Sydney Bard and the strength coach Mike just running the show. He always leads in soccer before games. He's just an awesome guy, keeping Aaron and the company super strong and well rested during her injury timeout, if you will. But just awesome job by the goaltenders so far this season, especially Peslerova in her game today.
Again, if you're just joining us, Boston was without their starting goalie, Aaron Frankel. She suffered an injury at the end of the World Championships. But head coach Courtney Kessel is optimistic that she could return next game at Montreal. That remains to be seen. Even if she doesn't play, Peslerova is more than a capable backup. Boston will get their second win of the season against Toronto. Every single game has been decided in regulation. Toronto won the season series 4-2. And yet another game decided by multiple goals between these two teams. Tossed over by Nurse, but nobody home. Tracking it down Malte. Final 10 seconds. Nurse in front. Trying to preserve the shutout. Boston wants to clear. They will. Monroe looking for a quick re-entry. She'll dump. Peslerova's out. Plays the puck. And she's locked up her first career shutout. Boston wins 3-0. Klara Peslerova. Your goal scorers today, Lexia Gia, Hannah Brandt, and Teresa Shopsaw. Boston moves into third in the standings. Once again, for our producer, Casey Carter, director Tim DeRoyne, my broadcast partners, Gigi Marvin and Natalie Norrie, and our entire crew, I'm David Korzanowski saying so long and good night from the Saugus Center. Final score, Fleet 3, Sceptres 0.